Friday. I hope it's an auspicious day for you. Certainly is for me. And I'm just checking out my Chrome browser tabs. Any tips? Volkswagen, the Holy Trinity. Fast fact for you, Holy Trinity Church is one of the best religious landmarks in my hometown of Southport, Merseyside. Go and check it out. They even have the most incredible organist. He's a 12-inch pianist. And he will play for you on irregular occasions. So check out their calendar of events. But we're not here for that today. We're here for today to talk about AI code editing. Now, sorry to trample all over an old trope, but my world is communications. By the way, I'm Dr. Badger, otherwise known as Dave Thackeray. Dave at wordandmouth.com and Dave Thackeray on X. And I do anything to do with content strategy, business consultancy, or communications coaching. So if you want help with any of those three things, you're in the right place, my friend. Good to see you, Doreen. Always a pleasure. So today, AI code editing. We have seen, even last night, ChatGPT agents, a live presentation by Sam and his crew. Everything's changing all the time, and I saw something today. This would be a good opportune moment to check out my latest article on Medium. Nick St. Pierre, love that word, Nick. So many tools, right? When you commit to one, something better comes out. I'm tired. We're all tired, Nick. I know exactly how you feel. But what's really exciting about this whole situation is there are some basics, some fundamentals, some first principles that we all can move back to build something better with AI. Now, you might have seen yesterday the Swedish-based company Lovable, which lets you one-shot an application. More often than not, a software as a service, a SaaS app for just type in a few things like, hey, I want to build a habit tracker that supports your mental health. I'd like it to have shiny buttons, look a bit like the Apple website, and keep me on track when it comes to building out habits. And you'll hit submit, and Lovable will obligingly create an app for you. But can you see how much information has been left unsaid? Lovable will create something based on its reams and reams and reams of data that it is reams, isn't it? That tell you or tell Lovable through its LLM. It probably uses Anthropic's Claude Sonnet 3.7 or 4. The body of data that LLM has been trained on is what is all that Lovable will use to create your application. So it will take your prompt, which is converted through a series of embeddings and tokens and matched with things that are already in this training data set, and create something that you can use that approximates a habit tracker. But in terms of functionality, in terms of styling, in terms of the things that it needs to do and how it needs to be tested, none of that has been shared. And none of these one-shot application builders are mind readers. They take a massive swathe of data and they try to match it against what's in your tokens, what's in your prompt. How can that work? It can't work. I'm going to go back now and I'm going to put into chat. I'm going to put this in. Brouhaha, brewing at your biz, because that's what's your problem is all about. It's like, if you've got a business challenge, right, I want you to tell me all about it. Don't just expect me to know. But as a business strategist and a business consultant, I do a very good job at finding unexpected solutions. You may not be able to see the wood for the trees. Thankfully, I've got a chainsaw. Chop those trees down for you. We'll obviously recycle them into pulp. This is a sustainable forest. but at the same time will help you see clearly. And that's the whole purpose of word of mouth. That's my whole professional purpose. And I've got tons of great examples to share with you, spanning all different industry sectors on how we can solve your problem. Hence me wearing the British and American hat, a bit of a pastiche. What's your problem? Right. So AI code editing. We've dangled you over a cliff face. We've said, okay, well, this isn't necessarily the right way to get exactly what you need or your users need if you're going to build something from a commercial standpoint. So what do you need? Well, I've been working with Kino.dev on a waitlist basis right now from Amazon. It's another AI code agent. But the great thing about Kino is that it formalizes the planning process, it codifies it, it makes it okay, it gives us permission to plan. And you've seen as we have evolved through AI code editors into coding agents, how this process has been legitimized and formalized so that it now feels perfectly normal, normalizes the planning process to have all of your ducks in a row before you write a single line of code. So I'm going to take you through a presentation now that explains what this planning process is, what the 3 documents are. It's been a long week. And then we sort of explain a little bit more about why, right? So we talked about mind reading. Structure is so important to make sure that we don't get caught out by any gotchas once we're in the code. Because once you commit ideas and requirements to code, giving you a quick hint there, once you commit requirements to code, then it's very difficult to roll back if somebody says, oh, do you know what? I wanted it designed specifically for my Nothing phone. I think that is a brand of phone, or my Nokia 6310. It needs to be 4-bit, or oh God, Matt, seriously, why did you not put that in the requirements document? What, we can't do that now. And it prevents errors. So the more you load in after you've finished the planning phase, the more exposed and the more prone you are to faults in the code base. And nobody wants that. So these 3 precious planning documents, the requirements document, the design document, and the tasks document. And we've assigned them archetypes because it's nice to embody them or to anthropomorphize them. You've got the dreamer, you've got the planner, you've got the executor. The dreamer wants to know, what do we actually want? And that's something that we singly overlook when we go to a Bolt or a Lovable or a Databot, and we say, hi, right, here's one of my latest business ideas. Design for me a full stack application that allows mechanics who have got a little bit of spare time or want to sort of boost their income on a Saturday morning to connect with second-hand car buyers, to provide them with their expertise, to help them make the right purchase. Submit. What are the requirements? Other than what you've just said, how will that application work? And from a design point, what are all of the other platforms and tools that you need to connect to this application to make it work? There may be an API out there of all the mechanics in your county, region, country. The design is almost kind of what would bring it to life. What's the underpinnings? What's the technical foundation? What does the architecture look like? What's the data model of your application? For goodness sake. And the tasks is saying what needs doing and when needs doing. Sequential, chronological, if this, then that. And also, it ties back to the requirements. So once you've built your requirements that starts with user stories, as I need, so I can. That is typically the template for a user story. And assigned to those are acceptance criteria. How do I know when this requirement is met? AC 1.3, AC 1.4, AC 261.8. And then when you get to tasks, you can say, okay, by completing this task and completing this test suite, we have addressed requirement 3.1 or acceptance criteria 28.4. What it doesn't matter. You can start to see why these documents really matter. Covered this, acceptance criteria, when, then, or if, shall, all these big words. It's acceptance criteria. It's a little bit like pseudocode, and I've got another article about that. I'm not going to talk about it right now. We talked about the architecture. We talked about the file flow, the systems, the stack, the tool chain. What are all of the technologies? What are the libraries? What are the frameworks? I mean, this is incredible, right? It's a job in itself just to create the package.json file if you're building a React application, figuring out all of the different frameworks and libraries that you need to make this application work. It blows my mind. And please, don't ever write anything in Comic Sans. And the list maker tasks. Oh, goodness me. Now, just to do one of those dreamlike things, back in the day, code editors weren't really beholden. AI code editors as well, like Visual Studio Code, weren't really beholden to tasks, and they'd go around in circles. They'd fall into loops, and then we started creating markdown files that gave these coding agents or editors specific instructions from a TypeScript standard point of view or whatever. It's like commit every single time. Don't forget TypeScript, doesn't matter. Whenever you change the code base, make sure that you document the change. Whenever you create components, make sure you add that component to the list of known components that are part of the code. It's like there's so many documents now that keep the AI coding agent on the straight and narrow. And tasks is one of them. Tasks is probably the most important because it's essentially saying, this is what you actually need to do. You've looked at the requirements. Requirements is a lot more about, on a systems thinking basis. This is how the application needs to work and what it needs to do to serve the needs of the user. The design is, what are we going to build this on and how are we going to build it to fulfill the requirements? And the tasks is, right, okay, specifically, what are the things that we need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to complete this project? And it, of course, needs to include a test suite. It, of course, needs to include. And by the way, when I was talking about the Markdown documents earlier, the rules for the AI coding agent, one of the rules is, of course, do not commit sensitive data to GitHub. You've been there. I've been there. Whoops, my Gemini AI API key has been leaked onto a GitHub repo and, somebody's used it. And now I've got my rate limit has been smashed to pieces. Nobody wants that. So requirements defines what do we need. Design says how we'll build it. And tasks is the step-by-step plan. By the way, if you want this, I've got a PDF. I'll probably include it somewhere, whatever. And this is really helpful. It's like a sitcom. Requirements is the anxious friend. Make sure, like Rachel on Friends, worries about everything. Or is that Phoebe? No, it's not Phoebe. It's the Courtney Cox. Courtney Cox is the one, isn't it? Rachel's a little bit scatty. The opposite of design, which is the organized friend who has a plan for everything, and tasks, the practical friend who actually gets things done. It's true. The analogy is right. Without these 3 documents, you are building an IKEA Billy bookcase blindfolded. And we talk about the note-taking app. I think I will show you what we're going to do from here. Actually, what I will do is I'm going to take you back to this for a second because I've put this prompt in my note-taking app that I built in Project One. To give you backstory, if you haven't read the article on Medium, I decided that I was going to try and find a better way to work with AI coding agents because 97% approximately of the projects that I've tried to build with AI have been an absolute disaster. I'm not a designer. I know there is a Google app called Stitch, which is probably my best friend when it comes to creating an interface that I can then port into my AI coding agent, Kino. I'm going to do that actually for one of the projects in this catalog of 10 projects that will ultimately create me a content creators command center with analytics and idea generators and stuff, a little bit like what I believe the Every.2 gang, Dan Shipper's lot, are doing with their applications, although in a very much more sophisticated vein. Mine is simple, it's just for me. And I think this is great. And what I would say to you is, if you want to start building applications, and there are always places where you can do it for free. You can go to Bolt, you can go to Lovable, you can go to Databutton, you can create something, or V0 from Vercel. You can go to all these places and create a free basic app just so that you can learn the ropes and hit the road. But the 10 project challenge for me is starting very simple and ended on something that's quite complex. And along the way, instead of learning code, I'm learning to work with AI to build code. I'm learning systems thinking. I'm learning frameworks so that I've got a rudimentary knowledge of everything works together. And if I start with a very simple app, which is the note-taking app, and then I build towards the command center, every time I'm introducing new concepts and I'm able to understand them. Learning anything, start very beginning. And the great thing about AI, you could go to chatgpt.com now and you could say, okay, well, build me this 10 project challenge, or start me at the very beginning with anything that interests you: woodworking, pig rearing. Start me at the very beginning with the most atomic, the atomicest of atomic units in this domain. Start me on a project that helps me learn that, and then my ambition is to get to this. With me, it's German. I want to get to a conversational level, perhaps B2. Starting with the basics, starting with the vocab. Did a Michel Thomas audiobook course, got my A1 certificate. I'm starting to build towards it. I'm starting to find the jigsaw pieces to assemble that finished picture that gets me to my ambition. But with this, like the project thing, I said, look, okay, I'm a huge fan, Larry David, huge fan of Jerry Seinfeld, huge fan of Jimmy Carr, Bob Mortimer, Alan Partridge, Spot the fictional character, Steve Coogan, Rob Brydon. So, and I also love baking. I'm a business coach. I'm a content strategist. I'm a communications consultant. I'm obsessed with trying to find solutions that people haven't considered that are the best ones. All this in mind, create a series of projects around my interests that get me creating something by project 10 that I can really use in my day-to-day, that it just feels like a fundamental part of who I am and stuff. A bit like creating the everything notebook on Notebook LM. Once the penny drops on that, you never go back. So I've created the first notebook app, which is Project One, which you'll see in front of you now with the Save Notebot. I'm now going to move on to Project Two, and I'm going to start it in Kino with you today. And I'm hoping that you're going to see how this all fits together. I'll take you briefly through the completed Project One, and then we'll embark on this audacious Project Two mission together. But the prompt that I'm using as part of the spec process, which is what we've just discussed, the requirements, the design, and the tasks documents, is in this prompt that you'll see that I've popped into the note-taking app that I that I built as part of Project One. So I'm asking Kino to start Project Two specking. You will see a fully complete note-taking app because I've copied all of the files from Project One into the Project Two folder. You will see a fully complete note-taking app with all 3 spec markdown documents over a series of 10 projects. Now explaining the context. We will be building towards a complete content creators command center, giving it a bit of detail about what that is. Then I've included all of the 10 projects in a separate text file, just to give the coding agent some context. If it wants to refer to that and go, okay, we're working on Project 2, we're ultimately working towards Project 10. So now I get a sense of what Project 10 looks like. So on the Project 2 basis, I can create a series of those 3 spec documents that is more informed than if I just gave it Project 2 and had it guess what projects 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 might look like. So it's like we've got stepping stones here. It's informed, it's intuitive. I migrated the code base you see from the first project. Yes, we've talked about that. Today, this is giving it some context as to what we're doing, the task in hand now. We're continuing work towards that ultimate goal, create on Project 10. Today, we're working on Project 2 just to reinforce that. And then I've given it some more information about Project 2. And then I've suggested it may need to create a new set of spec files. So what I'm going to add as well is feel free to delete the old ones that are in this Project 2 folder because they were only useful for Project 1, but I wanted to include them to give you some guidance as to our journey so far. Full stop. I am obsessed with getting typos obliterated. What I'm going to do now is save the note. Look at that. This notepad note-taking app works a treat. So I've got that now. So I've banked that. So I can use that now and adapt it for all successive projects. Going to go into here. There's the 10 project challenge doc that I was talking to you about. Here are all the files on the left-hand sidebar, including the validation report for project 1. I'm going to just quickly copy and paste that into the prompt because I have added to it. I am going to hit return and see if Kiro fancies having a go at that today and just see what it responds. So this is helpful now. So it's looking now at the 10 project challenge to get a sense of what we're building towards. It's looking at the files that we built for the note-taking app. So it's getting a sense, this is sportscasting, isn't it? It's getting a sense of how we got here. It's looking at the index file. It now understands project 1. And now it's deleting those 3 spec files, the requirements file, the design file, and the tasks file. And now it's saying that Claude Sonnet 4 is deluged because everybody wants to use this. See if we can get it back to life. And sometimes this works. Sometimes this works. And it's just a jitter. But there we go. New spec. Come on. This is amazing. I love it. So requirements doc, you'll start to see these documents slowly appear. Don't know whether they're in here. They're not, are they? Or are they? No, take it. Oh, this is interesting. It's already started. So it has created specs in a separate folder. It's creating the requirements markdown file. Look at this, the requirements document. Right, now, this is great from a automated standpoint, right? You have 2 forks in the path that you must walk as far as speccing out an AI code editor. You go it alone, you do it yourself, or you do it with me, and by me, the persona is the AI coding agent, or you let me do it for you. I would not advocate for the third option, which is let me do it for you, because you learn nothing. You learn nothing. If you do it with me, then sure, you give the prompt as I did, and you let AI create these documents. But you must be an engaged collaborator. So, for example, I'm exploring this with a fine-tooth comb. As a content creator, I want to generate random content ideas in requirement 1 by combining different topic categories so that I can overcome writer's block and discover new content angles. Yes, that's a great requirement. I'm not going into acceptance criteria just now. I'm just going into user stories. As a content creator, I want to access diverse topic categories. Yes, that's great. Requirements 3, I want to quickly generate multiple content ideas in succession. Yes. 4, generated ideas to be displayed in a clear, readable format. Requirements 5. integrate seamlessly with the existing note-taking functionality. Yes, now you'll see why it was important that I told it all about this first note-taking app, because we're building on it. We're not just creating a brand new app from scratch. We are taking those existing files and we're building on it. And this is a really good idea. This is why the 10 Project Challenge is so awesome, because we are compounding the effort sequentially across each project. It's great, isn't it? Oh my God, I'm so genius. I'm not really at all. But so what I want to do is, that's the fifth requirement, seamless integration. I just want to ask, do you think this is too early in the 10 project challenge for us to be integrating an AI API so that we always get brand new content ideas rather than those from a static, unchanging database? I am conscious, thankfully, that we don't want to jump ahead and get too complex too quickly. If you think a basic approach would keep things fresh, then the existing requirements document is perfect. Ultra think before answering. So apparently with Anthropic's models, if you use the word ultra think, one word, it will do a little bit more digging. It will do a little bit more reasoning. Complexity progression in a spectrum of difficulty. We're on super simple mode at the moment. AI is coming back now. It's reflecting on my question and it's saying there's complexity that we're not ready for yet. This is great. It's a pragmatic programmer. Sometimes you might be thinking, oh, let's jump ahead. Like me with my guitar. I think I'm going to play some Eric Clapton on my second lesson. The requirements document is perfect as is. This is great because we are hearing about AI being a sycophant, stanning you, being a simp. So it's happy with that. And it's also gone, you know what? I don't even want to talk about this. I just want to move on to the design document. So it's talking now about, you see the component structure, the idea generator component. You'll see the data flow, how it works, what the user will expect, what we will expect during the testing phase. And now it's going into all kinds of different topic categories, things that I might like to write about. Isn't it beautiful? And it's going into the different frameworks. And there's a lot to play with here, isn't there? Oh, this is really a reference document. I am going to go against everything that I said. I'm just going to go, do you know what? Yeah, the design looks good. Implementation plan is going to start working on the task list. Yes! I'm hyped by this. Okay, we're going to leave it there. You've had enough, no doubt. It's been quite a lot today, hasn't it? Yes would be the answer. I'm just writing an article right now all about this, and it will be on medium.com/at Dave Thackeray, just like I am on X, at Dave Thackeray. And if you want to talk about any business challenge, what's your problem? Agent input required. Look at that. That's because my tasks list is ready and I'm ready for project 2. If you have any business challenge that you want to talk to me about, that's what I'm here for. If you want to be entertained at the same time as discussing complicated business problems, this might be a good place to be. If you want anything individual to you, personalized to you, if you want consultancy, if you want coaching, dave@wordandmouth.com. That's where we're going to leave it for today, because today's a Friday. Today is the end of the working week, unless you're a maniac. We will catch up, I am sure, very soon. But first, How do I move that out of the way, you monster?
My